When we picture evil, we usually picture a cinematic villain.
Right, like Darth Vader or the Joker or something.
Exactly, just someone cackling in the shadows. And it's comforting to think of evil as a monster, right? Because monsters are obvious. But, well, the stack of psychology, history, and sociology research we're diving into today points to something far more unsettling.
Yeah, much more mundane.
Right. Our mission for you on this deep dive is understanding where evil actually comes from. Is it the work of monsters or just ordinary people? So, okay, let's unpack this.
Well, when you look at the research, malice is actually quite rare. I mean, true evil is profoundly mundane. It's usually just everyday people trying to keep their heads down and, going along with the crowd.
And we can see this happening on a massive scale right now. If you look at recent political data from Pew Research.
The 2024 data, yeah.
Yeah, the 2024 data. And quick disclaimer for you, the listener, we are impartially reporting the sources analysis here.
Yeah.
We are not endorsing any political side or viewpoint at all. We're just looking at the numbers.
Completely impartial, yes.
Right. So there's this wild trend. Democratic leaders in heavily polarized environments, like Donald Trump, are seeing relatively low approval ceilings. They rarely break 45%. But then you look at authoritarian-leaning figures, Putin, Bukele, Modi, and they are coasting with 70 to 80% approval.
Which is massive.
It is. People aren't just tolerating authoritarianism. They seem to be actively craving it.
And you see the exact same psychological mechanism in Mexico right now, too. Recent national surveys, the ENCUP data, show citizens are consistently prioritizing, calm over human rights.
Wow. Calm over human rights.
Exactly. They are so desperate to reduce uncertainty that they're normalizing extreme cartel-level violence. I mean, it basically becomes just another boring bureaucratic statistic to them.
So it's like choosing to stay in a structurally collapsing house because the fear of the unknown outside is somehow scarier than a crumbling roof.
That is a perfect way to look at it. Psychologists actually call this system justification theory, from Jost and colleagues. Our brains essentially trick us into rationalizing a broken system because we have three deep, desperate needs.
The epistemic, existential, and relational needs, right?
You got it. We need certainty, which is epistemic. We need to feel safe from chaos, which is existential. And we need to belong to our group, that relational need.
Right, so questioning the system threatens all three of those things and triggers immense anxiety.
Precisely. And that macro-level need for order drips right down to individual choices. This is really the core of Hannah Arendt's famous concept, the banality of evil.
Oh, this is about the Adolf Eichmann trial, isn't it?
Yes. When she watched him stand trial for orchestrating the Holocaust, she wasn't looking at some sadistic psychopath. She saw a mediocre, unreflective bureaucrat. Evil wasn't a passion for him, it was just a failure to think critically.
He just surrendered his morals to the system. But here's where it gets really interesting, because anytime we talk about blind submission, Stanley Milgram's shock experiments always come up.
Right, of course.
We all know the story, right? Ordinary people supposedly shock strangers just because a guy in a lab coat told them to. But wait, didn't recent archival reviews challenge Milgram?
They did, yeah. Gina Perry in 2012 and Haslam in 2014, they went back and reviewed the original recordings. And they found participants were actually resisting. They weren't just passively obeying a bully.
Oh, really? So why did they keep going?
Well, the ones who kept pushing the button did so because they convinced themselves they were serving a noble cause. In this case, the advancement of science. Researchers coined this term engaged followership.
Engaged followership. So they weren't turning off their brains. They were actively rationalizing the harm. They thought they were the good guys contributing to something bigger.
Yes. And that specific mechanism, rationalizing abhorrent behavior because a recognized leader normalizes it, that directly explains some of the darkest real-world events.
Like that recent Gisèle Pelicot case in France. That case is just absolutely harrowing. I mean, for years, her husband chemically submitted her and invited dozens of strangers to abuse her. And the terrifying part is that the perpetrators weren't outcasts or like stereotypical monsters. They were everyday guys. Firefighters, journalists.
Right. They were fully integrated members of society. And the reason they could do that is because the environment created by the husband legitimized the abuse within that specific microcosm.
So there was no coercion, it was engaged followership.
Exactly. The leader, the husband, normalized the horrific. And once a group is involved, you get this massive diffusion of responsibility like Darley and Latane outlined back in the 60s.
Right. So if the group and the husband allow it, the individual feels no moral guilt. The blame is diluted across the whole group until it practically vanishes.
Which brings us to the chilling bigger picture here. I mean, evil doesn't require a pathology. It simply requires our acquiescence. It thrives the moment we stop thinking critically and let the situation or the system dictate our morals for us.
And that is why you should care. Because moral courage doesn't mean fighting dragons. It means actively questioning the everyday systems and routines you might just passively accept.
Exactly.
Which brings us back to that collapsing house. We're going to leave you with this provocative thought. If our deep psychological need for order makes us tolerate the intolerable, what normalized evil in your own daily routine are you currently justifying just to keep the peace?